that dropped. So biography of full name is George G. Lord Byron. George G. Lord Byron. This man, that is the picture of that person, that is George G. George G. Byron. Most probably that Swiss is over there. Okay, so George G. Lord Byron, full is George Gordon, that means G stands for Gordon, George Gordon Lord Byron, was born January 22nd, 1788, to Mad Jack Byron and Catherine Gordon. That means his father's name was Jack Byron, but before that Mad Jack Byron, and mother's name was Catherine Gordon. So from Gordon he has got Gordon, and from Byron he has got Byron. So George Gordon Lord Byron. Lord Byron, he has inherited from his previous generation. Yeah. The elder Byron, that means Lord Byron's father, notorious for his carousing and attempting seduction of women of means. That means hoisoi kuriya, to make merriments and drinking. That was the part of Lord Byron's father's life. He would love to pass his life making merriments with wine and with beautiful women and with the women of his status. Okay? And took his wife's family name due to his own financial desperation. And he spent, that means Byron's father spent a lot of money, and for this reason he took title and also money from his wife's family, to mitigate the financial problem. Who? Byron's father. In Catherine, he believed he had found his escape from chronic poverty. Actually, the person who will be passing and wasting so many time, naturally financial problem is a chronic disease to him. They can't refrain themselves from wasting money. যারা পয়সা নষ্ট করা যাদের অভ্যাস, there is a movie উত্তম সুচিত্রার, মুভিটার নাম ভুলে গেছি, জলসাঘর না কি জানো, পারলে দেখে, যাদের হ্যাবিট হচ্ছে এটা, their habit is to make merriments. They think that life is short, we will be enjoying our life in the fullest sense, in the whatever the way possible. Okay, so Byron's father did such kind of merriments and wasting money, and for this reason he had a chronic problem. What is the problem? That means he had financial problem. Whose? That means Lord Byron's father. And for this reason he got relief after getting married to Catherine Gordon, because he would get some financial help from his wife Catherine Gordon's family. Having married her, however, Byron almost immediately abandoned his wife and newborn son to continue living like a debaucherous, লাম্পট্য, অতিরিক্ত অমিতাচার, অবাধ্য, debaucherous, bachelor. So many thought that after getting married, Lord Byron will leave all his bad activities, but that was not happening. Immediately after getting married to Catherine Gordon, he again started doing the same activities what he did before marriage. That means he started doing all the activities, merriments, with drinking and making relationship with other fair and status women, and he became bachelor. That means he left Catherine Gordon's family and their son and continue living like a debaucherous bachelor, communicating to his wife mainly to ask for money. Mad Jack only once mentioned his only son, his only licit son. What does it mean? That means at present I take breakfast regularly. It means previously I didn't take breakfast regularly. It is implied. এটাকে বলা হয় implied meaning. একটা মিনিং বলে আরেকটা মিনিং বোঝানো। যদি আমি বলি যে এখন আমি রেগুলার ব্রেকফাস্ট করি, এর অর্থ হলো আগে আমি রেগুলার ব্রেকফাস্ট। So he has only licit son. It means that he had many. And in his correspondence, so his only one son, his name, and for her part, Catherine was an overprotective and domineering parent. So it is Byron, Mad Jack, and his mother, Lord Byron's mother, is totally opposite. Protecting means self-protecting from social customs or from others. She was very protective and also domineering parent. Domineering parent in some situation, আমি এরকম দেখেছি যে হলো কোনো একটা বাচ্চাকে যদি বলা যায় হচ্ছে একটা ফ্রুট দেওয়া হচ্ছে যে বাবা নাও, মা নাও, যতক্ষণ পর্যন্ত তার মা অথবা মা যেটা থাকবে কাছে যদি বলে যে নাও এটা ভালো, হ্যাঁ, এরকম অনেকে ইয়ে করে। তো সেরকম এর মা ছিল ওভার প্রোটেক্টিভ, and herself given to financial folly and also for the cause of financial তার বাবা ম্যাড জ্যাকের যে ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল প্রবলেম এবং অন্য যে সমস্যাগুলো সবগুলোর ক্ষেত্রেই এই ক্যাথরিন গর্ডন ছিল ওভার প্রোটেক্টিভ। She doted on her son but also flew into rages when he misbehaved or contravened her parental edicts. Okay, so Catherine Gordon wanted to maintain his son's characteristics and others, teaching, liking, everything, but that was not worked well on Lord Byron. Why? অধিকাংশ সময় কি আমাদের রাইটার লর্ড বাইরন সেগুলো কি করতেন না, মান্য করতেন না, আদেশগুলো কি করতেন না। Her oppressive influence, another one. And there is a thing, অনেকে বলে যে আসলে আমরা আগে তো দড়ি বানানো হতো কি পেঁচায় পেঁচায়, কারণ যত প্যাঁচ দেওয়া হয় দড়িতে দড়িটা নাকি শক্ত হয়, কিন্তু যদি বেশি প্যাঁচ দেওয়া হয় তাহলে হয় কি দড়িটা নাকি ছিঁড়ে যায়। So the over oppressive influence led the young George to grow up despising her. সেদিন যেন কে বললো ওই যে লাফিং ক্লাব এরকম ভিডিও ক্লিপ দেখা যায় না, বলছে যে কাকে বিশ্বাস করব। সেদিন সকালে মা এসে বলল এই ওট 10টা বাজে, কিন্তু যখন ঘড়িতে বাজে 8টা। I would say to my daughters that you will not tell lie even for making fun. But the children's mentality is very palpable. If they get anything wrong from their parental side, that will inscribed in their brain. So that happened. So Lord Byron's mother's oppressive tendency was not liked by Lord Byron, and for this reason Lord Byron started despising his mother, while paradoxically idealizing his absent father. That is বাপ কা বেটা সিপাই কা ঘোড়া, একটা কথা চালু আছে না। ওকে, তার মা একে এত ভালোবাসে, সবকিছু করে, এটা করো না, এটা শেখো, ওটা শেখো, অনেক কিছু তাকে শিখাইছিল, বন্দুক চালানো থেকে শুরু করে সমস্ত কিছু শিখিয়েছে তার মা তাকে। ওকে, কিন্তু এই বেশি ভালোবাসায় তার জন্য কাল হয়ে গিয়েছে। he didn't follow his mother, rather he started following his father. Not only that, he idealized his father. His father was not living with them. তার বাবা তার সাথে থাকতো না, থাকতো সেপারেট। তার বাবা শুধু তার মার সাথে যোগাযোগ করতো টাকার যখন প্রয়োজন হতো। ওকে, কিন্তু এই মা তাকে বড় করলো, কিন্তু ওই যে ওভার অ্যাপ্রেসিভ হওয়ার কারণে he started idealizing his father and paradoxically left his mother. But Byron underwent a tumultuous schooling at 3 different schools: Harrow, Trinity and Cambridge School, through which he was forced to fend for himself due to the mockery from peers about his club foot and his weight. He was bulky and he had a problem. Naturally, you see the boys, naturally such kind of foot is called জন্মগতভাবে পা হচ্ছে একটু বিকলাঙ্গ, ডিফর্ম ফুট ছিল কার? লর্ড বাইরন। এই জন্য at the time of reading Trinity College, Cambridge and Harrow, he was mocked at by his friends, peers, and also he was bulky. Bulky মানে একটু মোটা সোটা। And by the end of his schooling, Byron had forced himself into the lordly, urban, slim and debaucherous man who would become famous. After completing his schooling, he started to make himself slim, and he maintained the status of the aristocratic people of England at that time, and apart from that he grew the characteristics to be a debaucherous boy, and also he became famous. Like his father, Byron accumulated debts. আমরা এর আগে কি শুনলাম? তার বাবার কাজই ছিল হলো পয়সা নষ্ট করা, wasting money, making merriments with wine and beautiful women, and for this like his father, Byron also accumulated debts. Pronunciation? Debts. উচ্চারণ হলো debt, বিটাকে বাদ দেন তাহলে কি হবে? Debts. And accumulated debts আর DAT ওটা হলো date, DAT date, and GAT কি gate. Would you please open the gate? Would you please open the gate? সেটা হলো gate আর date আর এটা হলো debt. Through his excesses and the fiscal irresponsibility, all in the service of removing himself both socially and emotionally from his painful shame-filled youth. Okay, so he took money from many persons, and also he became irresponsible regarding the monetary affairs. Okay, he would spend money for many portions, and also he wanted to get relief from his shame-filled youth. স্কুলে তাকে যে সবাই বিদ্রুপ করতো, হাসাহাসি করতো, এটা থেকে রক্ষা পাওয়ার জন্য সে একটু নিজেকে আইসোলেটেড করলো। And he avoided his mother as much as possible and gathered around him a circle of friends whom he could discuss politics, poetry and carouses with equal. So he started discussing poetry, politics and other things. That means how to make merriments with wine, drinking and others. Okay. He enmeshed himself in several affairs with lovers, including a deep connections to the choir boy, and later a series of relationship with love in prostitutes. Byron also entered a one-sided romance with his cousin Mary Chaworth. Okay, she developed relationship with many beautiful ladies and others, and but he had a true love, Byron's cousin. Actually, yesterday we had been talking about that the maiden's love, isn't it? Maiden love, the first love. So you can call it the first love, Byron's first love. That was Byron's cousin. The way, the innocent girl, very good. And he fell in love with Mary Chawat. So, an one-sided romance. That means he would love. But Mary Chawat, whether she would love Byron or not, we don't know. But we know that is the one-sided romance. He would love. Mone mone bhalobashto. Kake? Mary Chawat. Okay, good. And going so far as to temporarily suspend his education to be near to her Annesley Hall. And he, Lord Byron, would love Mary Chawat in such a way that he left education and went to the place where Mary Chawat had been reading or studying. Okay. And Annesley Hill. And how? That was the feeling. That means Mary Chawat, we don't know most probably that Lord Byron would love him so much, but that was Byron's intense affection for his cousin. And for this reason, she left his living place, education, and went to Mary Chawat's closest or nearest area just to make love with this girl. Chawat was unattainable. Chawat ke khujei boy. She became engaged in the midst of Byron's pining for her in 1803 and would become the basis of many future unattainable beauties in his life, both real and literary. Okay, so this Mary Chawat became the symbol. It means that Lord Byron lost the company of making love or relationship with many girls. Mary Chawat was one of them. And actually, undesired or unfulfilled expectation may usher unattainable sufferings, mental sufferings to a person. And the expectation, যে ইচ্ছাটা মানুষের পূর্ণ হয় না, সেটা মানুষের মানসিকভাবে অনেক কি যন্ত্রণার শিকার করে. Okay, so that was Lord Byron's position when he missed Mary Chawat. He had been suffering a lot mentally that he lost Mary Chawat. In 1804, কত সালে জন্মগ্রহণ করেছিলেন? 1788. কত সালে? 1788. And in 1804 his age became 16 years. Byron began corresponding with his half-sister Augusta, to whom he grew emotionally attached to, even as to withdraw his sympathies from his mother. Okay, so that is incestual relationship. Actually, according to the family religious description or principles, it shouldn't make relationship with half-sister. And it was also severe in Christianity. To whom he grew emotionally. This relationship would eventually culminate in reputation destroying rumors of incest and end Byron's marriage. Okay, so there was a tendency that Mary Chawat would marry rather. But after getting that information that Lord Byron started making relationship with Augusta, the half-sister, Mary Chawat, she was very nauseated. And for this reason, that was actually that family, that society wouldn't take such kind of incestuous relationship very well, and for this reason, Lord Byron's marriage was cut. This is Augusta Leake, Byron's half-sister, with whom he next time. So the first Mary Chawat and second time his half-sister, Lord Byron developed the relationship. In 1806, Byron self-published his first book of poetry. Look here, actually after leaving college, whenever in case of creative writing, experience will make you the impetus or the apparatus of writing poetry, of writing creative things. So if you want to get the picture, how to get the কক্সবাজার সেন্ট মার্টিনের পিকচার ড্র করতে চান তাহলে আপনি ওখানে যেতে পারেন, যে ওখানকার ব্যাখ্যাটা ড্র করতে হবে। এরকম যদি আপনি কোনো নভেল, যে নভেলগুলোই যারা লিখেছে বিখ্যাত, অধিকাংশ ক্ষেত্রেই তারা বিভিন্ন জায়গায় গিয়েছে এবং কারো কাছ থেকে সেই গল্পটা শুনেছে, সেখান থেকে তারা তাদের চরিত্রটাকে। সো Lord Byron's relationship and his experience gave him apparatus of writing poetry. And for this reason, his first poetry, at that time his age was only 18 years, 1806. That means 1806, 1806 সালে তার বয়স কত? 18 বছর। ভদ্রলোক বাঁচেও নাই, 36 বছর বেঁচেছে। হ্যাঁ, সো এই 18 বছর বয়সে উনি প্রথম তার কবিতা নিজেই পাবলিশ করলেন, সেলফ পাবলিশড বুক অফ পোয়েট্রি, দ্যাটস নেম ওয়াজ ফিউজিটিভ পিসেস। And his mentor, his Reverend John Thomas Beecher, raised objection to some of the more erotic lines of the verse. He had so many relation in his life, and for this reason, in his poems, the full of love, and not only the love in erotic sense, that means extravagant love appears, and not in his life, but also expressed in the lines of his poems. His friend said, no, you shouldn't publish these lines. Stop. So Byron suppressed the book. Byron he republished many of the poems, now heavily edited. Next time, when he wanted to publish books on poems, he heavily edited whose friend and others. No, this boy is very dangerous. Okay, so no such kind of publication will come to light. Along with new verse in his 1807 poems on various occasions, followed later by an expanded edition titled Hours of Idleness, and this last edition being the first published work bearing his name, that is Hours of Idleness. So through a massive edition, his next publication was done, and the last book at the age of 18, when he was only 18 years old, that is Hours of Idleness, got Byron a fame, and fame for a writer. That means this boy has a genius, especially writing poetry. And at the time in England or in Europe, writing poetry, writing literature is a creative art, and that was praised highly. Okay, and for this reason, in English literature we have got so many famous writers. Okay, so with the publication of Hours of Idleness, his last edition, Lord Byron got famous. Okay, upon completion of his schooling and assuming the peerage, because Byron recognized as belonging the House of Lords. Okay, Byron took a long delayed journey to see the rest of Europe. Where was Byron born? Byron was born in England. English romantic literature. And next time, after completing his schooling and other things, he thought, actually there is a system in Europe. How many countries are there in Europe? Most probably 56 countries in Europe continent. সেখানে ইউরোপের এই দেশগুলো ভ্রমণ করার তার ইচ্ছা হলো, and there is a visa that is called Schengen visa. If you get that visa, you can go 25 countries of Europe with one visa. Okay, so Byron thought that he will be traveling the other parts of Europe, especially many countries of Europe, just for understanding. Byron took a long delayed journey to see the rest of the Europe, arriving in Lisbon at the height of English-French conflict. Okay, Lisbon is the capital of Portugal. Portugal, সালাস জামরানো জুটি। এখন বর্তমানের যে ফুটবল প্লেয়ার সবচেয়ে ভালো কি? রোনালদো। কোথাকার? সো আমরা ফুটবল প্লেয়ারের পাশাপাশি এর লোকেশনটা দেখেন, লিসবনটা কোথায়? আটলান্টিক ওশান। লিসবন পর্তুগালের রাজধানী, বৃহত্তম শহর, প্রশাসনিকভাবে পর্তুগালের লিসবন জেলাতে অবস্থিত, গুরুত্বপূর্ণ ব্যবসায়িক, বাণিজ্য, শিক্ষা, সংস্কৃতি, শিল্প উৎপাদন কেন্দ্র। লিসবন নগরীটি পর্তুগালের পশ্চিম ভাগে আটলান্টিক মহাসাগরের উপকূলে তাগুস নদীর প্রশস্ত মোহনার কাছে অবস্থিত। Actually, nature will make you imaginative. Nature will erase the agony, undemolished agony of your heart will be demolished if you go close to nature. So our writer Lord Byron started traveling the Europe, rest of the country, and he went to Lisbon. Lisbon was a beautiful place at the time, and many people would actually, if you want to create literature, of course he or she has to go to Lisbon. So our writer Lord Byron went there, and Lisbon, at the height of the English-French conflict, Byron remained mostly oblivious to the political climate of the world around him. England, they had a very long history, okay, and in this history they have many history about the conflicts between England and France, the major Anglo-French conflict, the 100 Years' War. So they started fighting, that means England and France, they started fighting from 1109, and that was ended in 1815. তার মানে 1100 সাল থেকে 1800 সাল পর্যন্ত কত বছর হচ্ছে? 700 বছর। এই 700 বছর বিভিন্ন কারণে তাদের মধ্যে যুদ্ধ হচ্ছে। মেন রিজন ইজ দ্যাট দ্য কনফ্লিক্টস আর ফট ওভার টেরিটরি, trade and power. Our writer Lord Byron was born in 1788, and he published his first poem in 1804 or 1806. Okay, and there at that time England and France were in conflict. Okay, so he went to, and some other conflicts are there. So many conflicts. Okay, I will get it the slide. If you get time, you can get the history of this Anglo-French conflicts. Okay, but Lord Byron left England and went far away from England and France, and he started living in Lisbon. And for this reason, he was mentally out of the conflict, the war situation. At the time of war, any person's mentality will not be good, isn't it? So Lord Byron left England, and France is the adjacent country, England and France, English Channel par hoye Farasi chole jete pare. So, and Lord Byron left England and started living in Lisbon. So from his mind, the history, the war of England and France was out, and he started living with the gale and the happy mood in Lisbon. And yes, arriving in Lisbon at the height of the English-French conflict, Byron remained mostly oblivious to the political climate of the world around him, and so focused was he on enjoying himself. It was from the journey that Byron produced the work that would make him famous, Childe Harold's Pilgrimage অথবা চাইল্ড পিলগ্রিমেজ। এটা তখন উনি লিখলেন। কেন লিখলেন? তার লিসবনে গিয়ে। The first two cantos written during the European travels were published in 1812. That means he started traveling Europe in 1808, 1808 সালে অথবা 6 সালে, এবং এটার উপরে ভিত্তি করে উনি আর দুইটা ক্যান্টো লিখলেন এই বইয়ের। কোনটার? এই যে yes, and published in 1812. The print run sold out in 3 days. After the publication of first two cantos, sold in 3 days. যত বই ছাপানো হয়েছিল 3 দিনে বিক্রি শেষ। And making Byron suddenly famous, and soon Byron was a sought after attendee at saloon and throughout the England. When someone's book becomes famous, the person will also be famous. Okay, and many person at that time wanted to contact. Actually, তার চেহারা তো খারাপ না, তারপরে লেখালেখিও করলো এরকম একটা ভালো, তখন সবাই মুগ্ধ হয়ে গেল। কারা মুগ্ধ হলো? ওকে, all the aristocratic women at that time of England, he had been attended by so many aristocratic women of the world at that time, and wanted by many people, usually of the high quality and the rare quality of women, and attended at saloon throughout England, where he also met a number of influential and impassionate women engaged in several affairs. One such affair was Lady Caroline Lamb. The first thing, after getting published the book Child Harold's he got the first. Lady Caroline Lamb personally was an Anglo-Irish aristocrat and novelist, best known for Glenarvon at Gothic novel. In 1812, she had an affair with Lord Byron, whom she described as bad and dangerous to know. Lady Caroline Lamb said that Lord, what kind of boy? Lord Byron, he said, he mad, bad and dangerous to know. But she also developed relationship with Lord Byron in 1812. And her husband was the Honourable William Lamb, who after the death became the second Viscount Melbourne and the British Prime Minister. So our writer Lord Byron started making relationship with that Lady Caroline Lamb, whose pursuit of Byron eventually worried him. Actually, the way Lady Caroline pursued Lord Byron, that was vice versa. Okay, also they were passionate, and also for the Lady Caroline's pursuit for Byron make him worried. And perhaps to cool Lady Caroline's affection, Byron proposed and in order. Once upon a time, Byron wanted to get relief from Lady Caroline, and he went to Anne Isabella Milkman to marry her. He was haunted by so many women, and he was haunted by Caroline, and in order to getting relief from Caroline, he went to Anne Isabel and proposed to marry him. Seeking to escape from his love affairs in marriage, Lord Byron thought that yes, if I get married, at least I will be getting relief from Caroline. Okay. Byron proposed in September 1814 to Anne Isabel Milkman, and the marriage took place in January 1815, and Lady Byron gave birth to a daughter, Augusta Ada. And in December 1815, from the start of the marriage was doomed by the gulf between Byron and his unimaginative, humorless wife. Two opposite poles, South Pole and North Pole. One, Byron is very romantic and life-enjoying person, and at the same time, oppositely, Anna Wesleyan was unimaginative, humorless woman. And for this reason, there was a chasm, fatal, তাদের বিবাহের প্রথম থেকে। And in January 1816, কত সালে বিয়ে করলো? 1814 সালে। তাদের সন্তান হলো 15 সালে। আর 16 সালেই Byron left Annabel and left Byron to live with her parents, and Annabel first left Byron. I will not live with you. He left Byron and went to live in his parents. And swirling rumors centering on his relations with Augusta Leigh and his bisexuality. So Augusta, actually Byron was in his characteristics, that's okay, that can be apprehended by Anna Isabel, but Anna Isabel couldn't apprehend the relationship of Byron with another woman, not Caroline. Who has that? That is this one. Claire Claymont, step-sister of English writer Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley ke jonor kar writer? P.B. Shelley's wife, the writer? Yes. Claire Mary Jane Clairmont, as she was commonly known, was the step-sister of English writer Mary Shelley and the mother of Lord Byron's daughter Allegra. She is thought to be the subject of a poem by Percy Bysshe Shelley. Okay, so here she also developed a relationship. No, this was that. Okay, Augusta Ada, and from the start, I am also confused. In January 1816, Annabel left Byron to live with her parents and swirling humorous relationship with Augusta Leigh. Not that. This is Augusta Leigh. Augustaর পিকচার মনে হয় এখানে নেই, অগাস্টারটা এখানে নেই। ওকে, হ্যাঁ, ওকে, তাহলে he started developing Augusta Leigh and the couple obtained a legal separation, and at that time they got legal separation because their married life started from 1814 and that ended in 1816. Wounded by the general moral indignation directed at him, Byron went abroad in April 1816, never to return to England. And for this reason, actually, he was society তাকে এক ঘরে করে ফেললে, এত যদি সমস্যা করে, এই জন্য সে কি করলো? He left England and never to return to England. Okay, and Jane Elizabeth was another lover of Lord Byron. Was an English nobleman known as the patron to reform movement and the lover of Lord Byron. From 1830 to 1816, Byron published several works, most of them inspired by his travels to Turkey and Greece. The Gia Or in June of 1813 and followed by the breeze of Abdus later that year in the several other writing, the Seas of the Coronith, and all while Byron continued revising and adding Childe Harold's Pilgrimage. That was the first famous writing of Byron. In 1813, Byron began his affairs with his half-sister Augusta, and the same year Milbeck wrote Byron indicating that she had reconsidered the proposal marriage. Okay, that means the next year Byron again proposed to Annabella, and in January 1815 he married her. This marriage proved terrible for Annabella, who was in turns owed and abused by her eccentric husband. Financial difficulties along with Byron's increasing problems with alcohol further exacerbated the marital discord. Annabel gave birth to a daughter, Ada, but feared her husband had become mentally unstable. In January 1816, Annabel took her daughter from London and never returned to her husband. Although she wrote to him from her family home in Kirkby Mallory, England, urging him to join her, Annabel তাদেরকে ছেড়ে গেলেও লর্ডকে বলতো যে yes, you may come and join and talk to your daughter. To join her and their daughter, Annabel's parents had turned against Byron and instead asked him to separate from their daughter. Annabel বাইরনকে বলতো যে আসো আমাদের এখানে বেড়ে যাও, তোমার মেয়েকে দেখে যাও, কিন্তু অ্যানাবেলের পরিবার বলতো নো, তুমি এই সীমানা মারাবা, বরঞ্চ you should get separate from your daughter. The sudden emergence of the rumors of incest between Byron and Augusta finally broke Byron's relationship with Annabella for good. And March 17, 1816, Byron and Annabella agreed upon a legal terms of separation. Byron's vocal affection for the estranged wife at that time didn't prevent him from having an affair with Claire Claymont. Okay, so that separation, that girl, we have got the picture. The Claire Claymont, stepsister of Mary Godwin Shelley, author of the Frankenstein, and wife of the famous romantic poet Percy Shelley. In April, the separation was formalized and the paper signed. Byron then left England to travel the continent again, never returning to England. Okay, sorry. That is Claire Claymont. Claremont. In the May of 1816, Byron met Percy Shelley in Geneva, Switzerland. Although his enjoyment at this visit was tempered by the presence of the Claremont and her unborn child Byron's, the two men nonetheless enjoyed boating on Lake Leman and discussing poetry and politics. So in Geneva, Switzerland, another beautiful place, there Lord Byron started talking with Shelley. So they have some problem because Claremont was there. Okay, so apart from all the problem, they started discussing poetry at the time of boating in a river, Lake Leman. It was at the time Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein. Byron's travels with Shelley inspired him to write The Prisoner of Chillon, published in 1817. He also completed and published Cantos 3 and 4 of Childe Harold's Pilgrimage and completed Manfred and became his mock epic Don Juan, that we are going to read. Okay. Although prolific and gaining a reputation as a great writer of his time, Byron settled in Genoa, Italy. Actually, because in this time that is many problems, and he was not ready. Byron was not ready to return back to England. Became bored with his self-imposed exile from England. He was drawn again to the cause of Greek independence. Also, he was interested for the Greek should get independent, and this time donating large sum of money to refit and arm the Greek military. Okay. Apart from that, he was starting from Italy, but he said that Greeks should get relief from their tyranny. And Byron eventually gained a division of Greek soldiers under his own command, and before he could sail to attack the Turkish fortress, he became ill. The favored medical practice of the day, bloodletting, only weakened him further. He eventually developed an infection and died in 1824. And leaving his military action and several of his literary works unfinished. Okay, that means কত সালে জন্মগ্রহণ করলো? 1788. কত সালে মারা গেল? 1824. That means he had been living for 36 years, and within the 36 years, Lord Byron had so varied life. Okay, and so many things are accumulated with his life, and that is Lord Byron. And some other things are there. I will be giving it to you. Okay, so you will be reading in your leisure time. Okay, and